This is Daylight and Moonshine with me, Stimulated G. And today's topic will be, is homeschooling helpful or harmful? And today I have a special guest all the way from the East Coast, Lanisha Hart, better known as Miss La to her students. Miss La. She's going to join me on this topic, and I guarantee you this is going to be packed full of a lot of good information. So stick around for a while, grab a chair and a snack, and come on back. Welcome back to the D.A.M Podcast, y'all, episode 23. And I have with me Miss Lanisha Hart, or affectionately known as Miss La to her students. Like I said, today we're talking about homeschooling, and is homeschooling helpful or harmful? And she's got tons of insight. She's a advocate for education. She's a tutor, and she's a homeschool mom. So, like I said, full of information. I'm sure this is going to be a great show. I'm super excited. This is one of the rare topics that I'm actually really excited about. I mean, I love all of them, but I'm excited about this one. So, Miss La, how you doing today?
Hey, what's going on, G?
I'm great.
How are you?
I'm beautiful. I'm beautiful. I cannot complain at all. Definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
How
Neither
things
can
gonna
I.
feel? Yeah. It won't make nothing better.
It's a waste of time.
Absolutely.
I could spend that time being strategic.
Absolutely. I found myself earlier in this week. I know this week is we're like midway through, but I just really been focused, so focused, and I love it. I love the focus because it's so easy to get thrown off.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, tons of work, tons of videos and editing and content and all
just stuff on top of stuff. But I'm gonna let you, because I don't want to do you an injustice. I'm gonna let you introduce yourself and all of your hats, all the hats you wear. So I'll just briefly say before you get into it that we met on Fanbase, and I'm definitely an advocate for Fanbase. If you don't, if you don't know what Fanbase is, please come on over, check it out. You can not only make a little change without doing something strange, without doing something strange, but you can really network, and that's my main purpose for being on there. And then obviously ran into such a wonderful person like Miss La, and we had a conversation. I can't even tell you how we got into that part, but we got into a conversation.
I'm always advocating about education. That's what.
There you go.
And we was talking about homeschool, and you jumped in. I think I asked a couple questions, and you was like, "Hey, by the way, I was homeschooled." I'm like, "Wow."
Absolutely, and I was blown away equally when she said that that's what she does. She does that. She does it on the opposite end. I was homeschooled myself, and she does the homeschooling. And I never sat down and talked with a person on that level. So, like I said, I was super excited. Like, yo, you got to come on the show. She's like, what's up?
Yeah, like, let's go.
Let's do it. They need to hear this.
We need to get the word out. It's okay on this side. It's okay.
Definitely. So, tell us about yourself, please. Give us some background and on yourself personally, and then tell us, how did everything lead up to you homeschooling your kids?
Sure. I'm 42 years old. I have 2 kids. One is 22, one is 8 years old.
Okay.
I honestly didn't start my my collegiate journey until I was 36.
Oh,
So yeah, ironically enough. Um, I had decent jobs, but I wanted to do something different with my life, especially having a new baby. And I said, okay, I needed more education. I needed to get, you know, some kind of pathway for myself as far as a career, because I really didn't have one.
right.
And oddly enough, I went to school for human services and public administration and affairs, but I always had an affinity for kids and education and learning.
Mm.
So when I had my son and he was about 3 years old, he had a speech delay, my 8-year-old.
Okay.
He had a speech delay, and I had to get him um, evaluated to get services.
Right.
And during that process, I had already heard whispers about them stigmatizing young Black boys, wanting to put them on ADHD or kind of medication and so forth and so on. So
Yeah.
I was, I was key on that, but I still needed to reach out and get some professional help because he did definitely need some help. So fast forward, I get the report, and it was scary because had I not been assertive
Mm-hmm.
and resilient, and my fortitude level was, like, no, I'm not going through this.
Right.
I should have searched for the report, but in the report, it stated that my son had diapers. He had diapers. He could not tell when he soiled himself.
Hmm.
He would gaze out of the window, unattentive to the class. Mind you, my son was potty trained before he got into school. So that was a false statement. He could read at 2.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to give you a video to upload.
Nice.
Like reading words at 2. And he was looking out of the window because he was bored.
Right.
He was the only kid in the class that knew his ABCs, knew the map, knew the states. I had sight words all over my house. So he was familiarized with refrigerator, television, cabinet, window, door, closet, things of that nature. I tagged my whole house. And I got this tip from a retired, but she went back to teaching, but she was retired when she told me. She gave me a lot of good tips. And that was one of the tips that she gave me.
Right.
So once I went through the process, they wanted to put him in an inclusion class to get services. And for those who don't know, an inclusion class is a class that includes a multitude of different students, some with behavioral issues, some with learning disabilities, some with speech delays or, problems. And my son only had a speech delay, so I didn't think that fit for him.
Right.
And also because he didn't speak in the manner that I thought, receptive and expressive language, I didn't want him to get the shot, the rest of the immunization shots, because they did say that could have been part of the reason why he didn't speak or he was delayed. I didn't know. I didn't want to take any chances.
Right.
So that is the foundation for me to homeschool him, literally.
Yeah.
And then from there, I contacted the Department of Education. I looked up all the information I could, statistics, YouTube videos of other moms homeschooling their other African-American moms homeschooling their children. And I contacted the Department of Education and I got the requirements for me to homeschool him, which was a letter of intent, instructions on what I would teach him and what materials I would teach him, would use to facilitate the lessons, and quarterly reports.
Right.
So what is it? November, January, April, and June.
The 4 quarters.
And then by then, yeah. So he's in 3rd grade now. And this year he's going to do standardized testing. But I think due to COVID, that may be waived because they didn't do it last year.
Right.
For, all of the students. So that's basically the foundation for me to homeschool him. I did not study education. I didn't go to school for education. I just knew he did not belong in that class.
Right.
He was intelligent. He is still intelligent. He learns quickly. And he just needed help. He just needed help with speech. So I got him the help, but then I pulled him out of public school. And I've been homeschooling him since 2018 to 2019 school year.
Wow. Nice. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That had to be pretty heavy. I mean, you can sit back and listen to you express things that there's all of these things that you actually experienced yourself. But when you really hone in on the emotional side of it and put yourself as a parent, let's just say somebody out there listening that cannot relate at all to what you're saying with their kid, maybe they don't have kids, but to put myself or for them to put themselves into your shoes at that moment, there's so much more than just trying to fix a problem. This is some real shit. Like this is a real step. Oh, by the way, feel free to express yourself how you want.
Okay.
I should have said that in the beginning.
Because I didn't know. I was trying to keep it PG.
We in the living room.
We're talking about the babies.
Oh, we in the living room.
Okay, good. And I'm in my living room.
There you go. Put your feet up.
Good. And also, I wanted to briefly say that once I found out what was in the report, I definitely went to the district. And I definitely spoke to the deputy director, and she definitely reversed everything that they were trying to do with my son.
That's crazy.
And for that year, I put it into context. That was like October, November. So the school year had already started.
Right.
After that school year, now I had taken him out, and he didn't go back. He didn't go to, what was it, kindergarten? Yeah. He would have been going to kindergarten.
Gotcha.
So, yeah. And they did not. They knew when my mom didn't play.
Right.
I was from that. Hey, we handle business. We go in. We ask questions. We are assertive, but we don't take no shit. Right. And I wasn't taking no shit with my baby. Yeah. And I've already done the due diligence by that point as far as knowing the science behind the shots, the stigma, how they fail to really help the Black and brown children or boys who have speech delays, because more male children have the speech delay issue statistically than female children. So it's not a lot that they do. They just throw them in these classrooms and put them on all kind of medication. And I'm like, what is that going to do for them? It's not going to do anything. And luckily for me, I had a nice little Jewish girl. She was a woman, but she looked like a little kid. And she had my son speaking in complete sentences just like that. And I mimicked and I modeled what she did.
Yeah.
And I asked her a lot of questions. All the questions that I had about my fears, what I thought, what I didn't know, questions about what to do while I'm at home, little tips and tricks. We had those conversations. So, yeah.
Definitely. That's what I was going to, that's what I wanted to touch on. Like, if you want to, if you feel comfortable enough, speak on a little bit. What kind of went through your mind, or what where were you at when you got to this point where you were like, or was it easy for you to just make the decision? But when you got to the point where it's like, no, this is not going to happen, and you felt like you were,
I hell no, I was at my wit's end almost. I was nervous. I was blaming myself. I was trying to figure out the best plan of action strategically. Otherwise, I was still trying to guard myself and be strong for him.
right?
It was a plethora. It was an aggregate of emotions, a lot of emotions that just flooded my head, flooded my heart. I went through this guilt trip. Real briefly, I'll touch on that. I went through this guilt trip because they say with your kid, as far as that first 3 or 4 years, 5 years, they're at home with you.
Right.
And it's just he and I in the house. So I'm like, did I not speak to him enough? Did I not ask him enough questions? What should I have done? All of these things are in my head.
Right.
And it took for me to be in class and share with the retired teacher what I was experiencing. And she always called me Lanesia because she could never remember my name. And I told her, you are the queen. You can call me whatever you want. So she said, Lanesia, stop it. And she took my hand and popped me. Like, stop it. He's going to talk when he gets ready. Then she told me, tag your house. Put refrigerator on refrigerator. Television on television. Door, closet, cabinet. And in my window, I put sun, clouds, rain, moon.
Nice.
So that he could learn aesthetically. I don't know, like, kind of like see, map, adjectives and adverbs, the calendar. Nice. There's timetables over there. So aesthetically, she gave me that tip and I just ran with it, and I put sight words. I had about 50 sight words. I took them off because he learned them real quickly, and I passed them on to someone else. Another mom who definitely used them, and her son is definitely reading. But she helped me get through that and navigate through that because it was scary. I'm not going to sit here and lie and make it seem like, oh, it was just a bed of roses. But what I will say, it was phantom thinking. It was pseudo thinking. It was unnecessary. Because once I got past that, it was off to the races. I already knew what he was. Each child is different. Each child learns differently.
Absolutely.
Not all children learn in the same. Not all children learn and flourish and are successful in their learning environments.
Yeah.
The same learning environment. Some children learn by natural, learning, like going outside, learning about nature, learning about everyday life.
Yeah.
My curriculum is just structured on what I know he would need in life. Definitely modeling the basics, mathematics, reading, writing, comprehension, science, social studies, history. We are in the process of learning what the Constitution is. Okay. The branches of government, finance, and I'll give you some links to all of the things that I use, all of the websites that I use. But this book, Larry the Lending Lion, it's about money and finance.
Nice.
And in the book, it's an awesome book. It's an easy read. At the back, there are about 25 questions. Mm-hmm. And so, as you can see, we went through them already. But it goes over what interest is, what banking is, borrowing. Yeah. Let me just read you which animals had good credit, and why. Which animals had bad credit, because some of the animals didn't pay back the pennies.
Wow.
So yeah. It's I'm gonna give you the link for it.
Please do.
Why did Larry the Lending Lion let the animals borrow money? One of them needed to open a lemonade stand. So it's a good book. It's very good.
That just blew my mind right there.
Yeah.
And you compare that with some of the, and I'll say comical, for lack of a better term, some of the comical things you see in the actual school system. Like, what is this? It's like,
it boggles my mind. I'm like, Common Core. So you have to reverse the math and then flip it on its side, and it I can't. I'm not.
Yeah.
1 and 1 is 2.
Thank you.
Or 11, depending on how you line them up. I don't know. But no, it's basic. We need to get back to basics, but we also need to understand that, again, each child learns differently.
Absolutely.
They do not all learn the same. And that's the problem. In low-income, high-poverty neighborhoods, the students receive the teachers who are fresh out of college, have no experience in dealing with urban students.
Absolutely.
The different cultures of students, the different backgrounds. We are a melting pot of shit.
Mm-hmm.
These kids deal with a lot of crap.
Yeah.
And it's just everyday life. It's where we come from. It's what we are. And it's no fault to the parents, some. And these teachers have no clue on how to even approach these students.
Yeah.
Period. And I went to public school, and I had and tenure teachers are even worse, because tenure teachers, for those who don't know, I'll give you the technical term. They are solidified in their position in teaching. Mm-hmm. They have positioned themselves to pretty much not get fired. They can do whatever they want, basically. That's the real deal. That's the real deal. That's not the technical term. I'm going to give you the real deal. Tenured teachers tend to not care about really teaching the students, and more so on just being there for a check. So they'll be the teachers reading their newspapers in class. Mm. And I've had those. Or drinking their coffee and doing a crossword puzzle and say, okay, well, you guys do whatever you want. Yeah. 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 Tenure.
I'm blown away by all the information coming my way. Like, you are really bringing a lot of new info towards me. I'm trying to take it all in at the same time, be present. But that is, wow.
It's hard. It's a hard pill to swallow, but that is the reality. And that is one of the main reasons why our kids are steadily reading below reading level.
Yeah.
Steadily across the board for years. Pull up any statistic. I wanted to do that, but it's so many that say that. We all know that.
Yeah.
And it's sad. And
I'll
get on later what parents could do to, gear their kids into reading, have it fun for them. It's not a daunting task. If they like my son liked PJ Masks. No, my son liked Thomas the Tank Engine. Mm-hmm. I got him every book I can find on Thomas the Tank Engine. Every book. He got into PJ Masks. Got him every PJ Masks book I can find. He got into Ninja Turtles. He reads other books.
What do you know about Ninja Turtles?
Listen, if I go over there and get it, hold on. Do I need to say more?
Okay.
Hold on. Do I need to say more?
You got the Raphael size and Leonardo's swords.
And there's a Lego table there, and there's Ninja Turtle books, and okay, please. And Legos, He got into Legos. I did not let him construct a Lego model unless he read it for himself.
Mm.
It's an easy read. Take two, and it'll have a picture of whatever the Lego is, and then he'll put it together, whatever. But he had to do it correctly.
Yeah. That's one thing that I noticed about myself. I used to hate reading. I really did. And I was a young adult, probably in my 20s, before I like really actually picked up a book to read on my own. For me, it
Oh,
was like, yeah, if it wasn't in a school setting, then I didn't want to have no part of it. And
yeah.
I think that you mentioned this when we spoke before, but you were speaking to somebody else at first. So this may have been something that you're discussing with them, but um, kids in general, just people in general, especially kids who are talking about kids, they're interested in stuff that they're interested in. So if they're given a book that there's nothing about it that they're interested in, it's like a task. It's something that
Yeah.
they don't want to do, and they're probably
They
not
don't
going
want
to
to
do
do
it.
it. Yeah. Yeah.
So when I got books, when I started to get books for myself, it was obviously always something that I was interested in. It was a subject
Yeah.
matter that I was interested in. I mentioned to you earlier, I was into crystals and natural healing and all of that stuff. So one of my first books was the Crystal Bible, it was the Chakra Bible. It was about the chakras, and it had different parts of it was about different crystals where you could lay certain crystals on your body, and just different stuff or whatever, not really getting too deep into that. And then the next book was about crystals specifically.
Right.
And as more I started to just learn and learn about stuff that I was 100% interested in, I started to really enjoy reading,
Reading.
and I'm
You
like,
can get lost in it.
you
You
can get
literally get lost
lost.
in it. Yeah.
I said this before, when I saw people, this is how disconnected I was to that concept. When I saw people sitting in the park and reading their book and totally oblivious to the things that was going on around this, a big dog that's walking past them. There's a big scary guy that, that's walking. They're oblivious to that. They're lost in this book. I always thought that they were faking. I
Yeah.
kid you not. I thought that they
Yeah.
were faking. I was like, that person must like attention, because everybody, including me, everybody's looking at it. Nobody was looking at this person. It was only me.
Right.
So I'm
Right.
totally, so
Right.
I'm looking at this person. I'm like, they see me looking at them. Because for me, just growing up when I grew up, like you
Yeah, you gotta
naturally,
look around.
you got to have your head on a
You gotta,
swivel
you gotta look. You gotta have it.
at all times. But this person was so lost in his book, and it was something. I was so shy, and I didn't really approach people or whatever. But I wish that I would have had that conversation. Maybe I would have came out of my funk or whatever a little bit earlier. But talk to one of these people, have a conversation. Yo, what are you reading? Why are you
Yeah.
so interested? Are you
Yeah.
really reading that book? Or I don't know what the hell I thought, but it was, for me, it was intriguing, but I totally did not understand the whole concept of just reading
You
until I got
appreciate
older.
it more though now. That vision, you probably appreciate that, even that vision, that
Absolutely.
image of them reading, because now you have experienced what they experienced. And now you're like, oh, so this is that.
Absolutely. Just completely lost in something that I'm 100% intrigued by.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wanted to ask also, so I know it was hard, and I'm gonna get into a little bit of my background also that's relevant to this. But I know it was really hard. It had to be really hard. But I also know for you to be strong enough, and I commend you so much. Like, you would not believe, I commend you so much for
Thank you.
just doing what you did and doing what you do
Thank you.
currently, because I know it wasn't easy. You're very welcome. I know it wasn't easy. And where did you get that sort of strength from? Where did you get that drive, that determination? Through the fear, through the nervousness, through the uncertainty? Where did you get that push from, just to say, you know what, I want this for my kid and I'm going to do it, and nobody's going to tell me no?
I always had that um like I said, I always had an affinity for kids and education. And even my sister and brother, my younger sister and brother, because I had to do their homework with them, I always made sure that they wrote it neatly so they'll get the extra point. I always made sure they did the extra credit. I always helped them with the projects or reports that they had to do. And for me, I just knew that he deserved every opportunity, even with the speech delay, right? And I am at the helm, so I'm responsible for facilitating the conduit, if nothing else, for him to get there. And so I always had to project myself more because I got what they call a Napoleon complex. I'm very short. I'm 5'2". So I was always the shortest in the bunch. You know, the short ones always get like that rub on top of the head thing. And, you know, hey, little kid, you know. So I grew up like, no, I'm big in my soul, in my spirit. I'm big.
Right.
And so I always had that fight in me. You know what I mean? That determination that, you know what? I don't care what it looks like. My mom instilled faith. Faith without works is dead. So I just knew that what I wanted for him and that faith that was innate in me, it was no way I was going to just sit back and let them deal with him like that. No.
Right.
Absolutely not. And I felt like it was a threat on him, on his intellect, on his academics, on his pathway to education. How dare you say he can't read?
Right.
How dare you? My son came in that building reading.
Right.
They was enamored by the fact that I need to get these videos because I have videos of this boy and pictures of him teaching himself how to write in cursive. Wow. Because of the fact that I made it available for him to be surrounded by education. He had an easel, which is that little chalkboard thing. And he can't watch just anything on TV. I literally sit and watch movies with him just to make sure that there are no obscene languages or images that he's not supposed to see. And I've been doing that for a while. So when he was that age, I made sure that I set parameters on YouTube. And remember, I told you he was infatuated with Thomas the Train.
Yeah.
So any video that was synonymous with trains would come up.
Right.
And I also had a lot of educational videos tied into that. So one day, he's watching this video of, you know how you can write a cursive L?
Yeah.
The train track was the L. And then the train that he's enamored by is going around the L. Wow. I mean, so now he's mimicking that on the easel. I didn't teach him that.
Wow.
I cannot take credit for that. But I don't have his notebook in front of me. But when he heads his paper, it's in cursive.
It's in cursive.
And I didn't tell him to do that. I did not say, head your paper in cursive. I
remember the last thing we talked about, you say he's teaching himself to write in cursive. Wow.
Yeah. So, and I believe that they are, and this is sidebar, but I believe that they're taking the education factor as far as learning how to write in script out, because most of the ancient texts are in script. You know, that's just my take. Yeah,
very, very interesting.
But to answer your question, yeah, it was a plethora of things. It was I did not want him to fail. I didn't want to fail. I already was beating myself up. So now I'm on the like, okay, no, I got this. I'm
Yeah.
going to do this. That fight spirit, that Rocky at the top of the, stairs type of thing. Like, no, it's no way I'm going to lose. And every day is a struggle. Some days he doesn't want to do it. Some days he just want to lounge around and do whatever. And then he knows that if he doesn't do what he's supposed to do, he has consequences. He can't do Roblox, tablet, nothing.
Yeah.
Period.
And you have other kids that you tutor. Is it sort of the same setting or is that separate?
No, they come. Well, I do virtual and I do
Okay.
in-house. Fridays they come.
Okay.
And we do arts and crafts, but it's geared towards learning like primary colors. So we'll paint and we'll use the primary colors and then we'll blend them secondary colors or whatever the case may be. But like make a rainbow, my 4-year-old, she was 4. She's 5 now, but when I got her, she was 4. That's how I taught her primary colors, and we just painted a beautiful rainbow. And she was flabbergasted. Miss La, this is so beautiful. And I had Dollar Tree and all kind of glitters and blues and all kinds of stuff, real cheap stuff. But yeah, the premise is the same. I'm more like the militant, relaxed tutor. Like I'm serious about what we're learning, but I make it fun for them. You know what I mean? So we laugh and we joke and we dance. And I have them running around and pointing at things because, like I said, I have the periodic table, synonyms, I have the human body chart. So her mom wanted me to tutor her on every level of education, human body chart and all kinds of stuff. So she was like, no holds bar. I don't care. Just help her read, help her learn her. And I got her reading. In like 4 months, I think it was 3 or 4 months, like the 4th month mark. And mind you, she's only coming twice a week. Or at that time it was 3 times a week, but then she dropped down to twice a week because one of the family members got sick with COVID and she just wanted to be clear on everything. So it wasn't like an everyday thing. Yeah.
What advice would you give a mother that was in your same situation, except for, because this is obviously everybody cannot do what you did. And, like I said, I'll jump into my story in a minute because my mom did the same thing. And man, that's another reason why I know it was tough. I know it was tough. But what advice would you give a mom that was in your situation, or a dad? Shout out to the
shout out
single
to the dads.
They're out there.
One of my parents is a dad.
Wow.
He brought his son to me. It wasn't the mom, it was the dad. So shout out to the dads.
Shout out to the dads. So, some parents out there that may be in a similar situation, but they're just not built for what you did, how you took it upon yourself to do that. They want to take their kids out and they may be faced with the same situation, but they're just not in a position to homeschool themselves. What advice would you give those parents? How do you get started in that direction?
All right. So with everything, you just, whatever your spiritual realm is, religion, or whatever the case may be, I don't want to, pray, right? Ask for strength, right?
Yeah.
Because you're going to need it. Even if you're not tutoring, even if you're not homeschooling.
Yeah.
The focus, the strength, and the mental strength that you're going to need, because it's a different realm, it's a different avenue. You've never done this before, whether it's home instruction or you actually doing the homeschool, which brings me to my next point. Home instruction is available in almost every state. And what home instruction is, it's someone else doing homeschool at their house and you taking them to their house or their building or whatever it is, and they facilitate the lessons so that they're still not in public school. They are still getting the homeschool feel. It's just someone else facilitating the lessons. That's all. Yeah. And what I would say to parents, okay, so let me just branch off for a quick second. I only have one child in the house. For parents who have multiple children, pray even harder.
Right. Definitely.
Ask for some patience. Lord, thank you. But seriously, it is doable. You have to have a plan.
Yeah.
You have to have structure. You have to have a plan. I don't care if you're in a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom apartment, doesn't matter. You can have a little section. It has to be dedication, it has to be sacrifice. That is the major thing. Sacrifice. What are you willing to give up for this? What time, what energy, what monies? Because I homeschool, and in New York State, they don't give you money for homeschool. It's all out of pocket. But I found little quick ways like Dollar Tree. I get paints and everything for $1.
Yeah.
I can go get a burger for $8 in up here in New York. So if I can do that, I can go to Dollar Tree and pick up some supplies. You have all Amazon, Etsy, and I'll give you some links for some websites to do worksheets and everything. But for parents who have multiple kids, if you want to reach out, there are people who would do all of your kids. Well, would teach all of your kids. Take every last one of them. It's not just one and one. And for parents who have one, who would want to homeschool, do your research for your state.
Right.
Make sure you get what laws govern homeschool. That way you're coloring inside the lines and you're not violating anything. Keep record.
Yeah.
Keep record of what you're doing, because at any time the Department of Education can send me a letter and say, hey, we want to come by and look at what he's been doing. I need to be able to pull that stuff out. If I'm given a quarterly report saying that, okay, he's doing A, B, C, D, and E. If he's doing it and I'm saying he's doing it, I have to back it up. So keep a record of everything. Do your research. YouTube is your best friend. Trust me on that. Homeschool Pop, Busy Beavers. Try to stay away from in my opinion, the song and dance channels, because it's only so much that they can learn with song and dance. They need to learn specific instruction. Yeah. So, what else? There's so much. Ask questions.
Yeah.
Ask a lot of questions. There are no dumb questions, no stupid questions. Don't beat yourself up if you don't know. Don't second guess yourself because you don't know, because I'm not a teacher. I didn't go to school to become a teacher. So I'm doing this fly by night. I was in your shoes. I looked at YouTube. I asked questions. I looked on Google. I did ask some teachers that he did have. I asked some of my professors because I was in college. One of my professors from 2016, she still emails me and communicates with me. I reach out to her. And let me tell you something. I was literally trying to, we did the layers of the earth, right? And so I needed to make a nice circle, but I'm trying to do it like just regular. And she texts me for the day, and she always texts me every day and says good morning or whatever. So I was like, Reese, how do I make a complete circle? I don't have a protractor. She said, you don't need a protractor. Just use the back of a plate.
Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding. Yeah. Like, it was so simple. But I asked her. And I went immediately to the cabinet, got a little plastic plate, a paper plate, and made a complete circle. And we did our models. I got to give you some pictures.
Yeah.
I got to give you some pictures and stuff so you can put it on there so they can see, some of the things that we do at home. Etsy is your best friend for DIY, do-it-yourself arts and crafts.
You said Etsy?
Etsy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Etsy.
No, not Etsy. Pinterest.
Pinterest. Okay.
Pinterest. I'm sorry, guys. Pinterest is your best friend for anything DIY.
Yeah.
Anything do it yourself. I mean, as far as arts and crafts, as far as I know, I have to facilitate all of the subjects. So art is one of them. And I have to be able to produce art, painting, colors, whatever the case may be. If you can see back here, there was footprints and hands and a pineapple. And for this science, it was science, but I also incorporated art. So I use it as a double credit. So he was learning about the layers of earth, mantle, don't quote me, inner core, outer core, so forth. And we use regular paint. We use the canvas from Dollar Tree. All of this stuff is from Dollar Tree. Yeah. And we painted the layers of the earth. And then on the side, I had him use I had him do arts and crafts, cut out a piece of paper, and on there write inner core, outer core, crust, mantle, so that is on the little project that we did. And then I took clay from the Dollar Tree. We did white first in a ball, and then put yellow around that, and then put orange around that, red, and then blue, and then chopped it in half, and then you can see the layers of the earth.
Nice.
Yeah. Real quick, real fast. Quick. We used this is my arts and crafts table. We used toothpicks, and I used glue. And you know how you make a little tag, like a little flag?
Yeah.
So each layer, I had him label what it was: inner core, mantle, crust, so forth and so on. So it was cool. He enjoyed it. Kids love Play-Doh. I mean, clay and Play-Doh and stuff.
So it just seems like even for you, it just takes, even when it seems like it may be a little hard, it takes a lot of imagination, a lot of creative vibes, and you just do you, but you control the curriculum. That's the plus.
That's the beauty.
You control it. So let me dive into my experience, my personal experience. I've shared with my listeners before, and there's some of the earlier episodes that I was homeschooled. I can't remember how deep I went, but I'm pretty sure I didn't go too deep because it wasn't the topic. So
right.
I didn't want to go too far off subject, but just to give some background on myself, I was homeschooled. My mom, I can remember from like kindergarten, and I know she's gonna correct me on this. Forgive me, I was a little kid, but like from the kindergarten to second grade, I would say, in between, she was struggling with taking us out, putting us back in, and I'm assuming, it was because she was sure that she did not want us in there. But back then, and when I would talk to you, I said 90s. This was the 80s. I had to do my own math. Like, how old am I? Like, yeah. So we're the same age. You and I were the same age. So this was definitely like late 80s into early 90s. If I was that young. So I remember from my perspective what was going on. I was super intuitive even then. So I remember a lot. And I remember feeling a lot of emotion from her. So this is just my interpretation of what was going on. But she was taking us out, putting us back in. And when she took us out for the last time, she was pretty sure that she was going to keep us out. And she would get us the workbooks that was associated with whatever grade we were in. And she would teach us like that. Mm-hmm. And she was teaching us at home. It wasn't really popular then. She would point out episodes of like Donahue, and I don't know if you remember Donahue and Oprah and all of them. They would have shows where they would have these families on there, and that the kids would be homeschooled, but they just look so like alien like they weren't,
zombies.
Yeah. And so it was good to see that they were talking about it on there, but they were kind of making them out to be just this yes. sort of, which definitely wasn't us. it kind of, for me, it just kind of made me feel even more like, oh, wow,
Yeah.
thanks,
Yeah.
but no thanks. Like, I don't
Yeah.
want that type of
It always gave me
representation.
like the Children of the Corn
Exactly.
feel, like real zombie, like I can't.
Exactly. So you
Yeah.
know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
So my mom, she would, just to make us feel comfortable, she would point that out to us, and we'll all sit down and watch the shows as a family. But that did not really sort of make me feel better about the situation. It kind of made me feel, I don't say worse, but it was just like, just sort of in the middle.
Right.
So, fast forward to just when we got a little bit older, I was getting towards second and third grade. And I don't mean to rush through this. I just,
No.
yeah, but we were taken from my mom. They came and got us, and that was the main reason. The main reason was because she was taking us out of school. I believe the landlord and maybe even the school district reported her, and we got taken from her. So when you look at this title, I really want people to kind of understand whether they can relate or not. There's a few different sides to this. Your side is a beautiful side. I'm so happy that in today's time we're at this point where you can do that. You can reach out. It's
Yeah.
allowed, and but obviously,
Absolutely.
and back then I think it was too. I'm sure it wasn't as easy. And maybe part two, I'll invite my mom on so she can give her own point of view. She probably watching this and itching in her chair right now,
Right.
like,
Like, oh yes. I
exactly.
told you I would love to just have, even if it's just 5 minutes, like what was going through her head
Yeah,
at that time that
yeah,
she was so emboldened to make that decision for you guys and
yeah,
then go through that process with the state is, whew,
absolutely. And it
that's
was
royalty to me. That is what we are. That is the definition of what a Black mom is. You know
definitely,
what I mean? Like,
yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
Ooh,
So that's the official invite then. Oh, it's an official invite for you to come back, please.
I
And
am.
I'll
Whenever you
bring,
need me.
if my mom will come, if she's willing to come on, I'll have her come on, and that would definitely, man. Part
Yeah.
two.
Yeah.
Part
Yeah.
two. We'll do two parts to this.
Mhm.
But because I almost feel like I that's why I kind of ran through it. I almost feel like it wasn't right to say
Lay some
my
prelude.
part.
That's a prelude to her telling her
Yeah,
part. Yeah.
exactly. Like
Yeah.
that's what I'm thinking. Like, how can I tell my part? She's here to tell her part. This is her part. This is your part. That's her part. I
Yeah.
went through it, but she was the one that did it. So it's
Yeah.
only right to
Yeah.
have her on. So Ma,
That'll be awesome. Hey,
Ma, if you're
mom.
listening, we're gonna
As
have
long as
you
she can send
on.
me a plate. I know she cook, right? She be
Yeah,
better with
she
that.
get down. Yeah, she get down a little
Yeah.
bit.
I wish
Yeah,
I
she
was
do a
there to
little
get a
bit.
plate.
Definitely. She like to fix the big old huge salads though. She'll mix it
Oh.
up. But yeah, she
Did you
definitely
see
does.
my post of my salad the other day that I
I
posted?
liked it. Yeah, I liked it. I might have gave you a heart too, but I know I liked it.
Yeah.
Because when
It
I
was
give
loaded.
hearts, sometimes it'll kick me out. So I just throw a like in there. But I definitely liked it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It
I
was good.
saw
It was
it.
good.
but
It was
yeah.
good.
But yeah, so we'll do a part two on this one. I'll just leave it at that. And then I can go more in depth about um how what or when she says her view, her perspective, I can give my insight on how it was to actually
Yeah,
live it.
effective.
Yeah.
Good,
So
good.
we'll do it like that. So
Ooh.
um I will. I do this on every episode. So we'll get ready to close it on up and save the rest and the best for next time.
Oh yeah, that'll be good. That'll be good. Cause then I'll be able to get some content for you. Because
Definitely.
I think what it is, if they see it in a common space, right? In a common everyday, I'm an everyday person. I don't live in a fancy house. I live in an apartment. I live in Brooklyn, New York.
Brooklyn.
Yeah, Brooklyn. Shout out to Brooklyn. But yeah, I'm a regular degular person. That's what we say in New York, regular degular.
Yeah.
But I'm a regular person. I'm not, I am educated, but I didn't get, fun fact, I didn't even get my GED until I was 37.
See, and I knew some stuff that wasn't coming out. See, we need a whole nother. See, we got this episode, the part 2. Then we need an episode with just you and you telling your story about you.
Listen, we could do this.
The real lock.
I'm already locked in, and I'm willing to share because I, funny enough, and we could leave that to next time.
Yeah,
I was literally ridiculed.
Yeah.
Oh, you shouldn't laughed at in a little bit, and oh, you're crazy. Why would you take him out of school? He already doesn't speak the way you want him to. He's not going to have any social skills. Boy, don't be quiet. He doesn't shut up now. He just talks and talks and talks. And the way he speaks is proper, clear speech. I make him enunciate his words. He doesn't drop off syllables. No, you're going to speak properly. And so with COVID, and everybody having to homeschool and do remote learning.
Right.
I was the major consult.
Yeah.
My phone never stopped ringing.
That part.
So we'll leave that for next time too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I was going to say something and I forgot. Oh, that's why I got this old ass phone in my hand. So for every guest that come on for the first time, I do this little spin the wheel thing. I have this little spin the wheel app, and I do a 10 from within. So I have 10 questions, and I'll spin the wheel, and whatever number it lands on, I ask the corresponding question. And it's just random questions, but it's all to just sort of get to know the guest.
Okay.
And I can never, every time I lead up to it, and I can never find the app right away.
You need like 4 devices so you can be queuing up everything at once.
I need an assistant.
Yeah,
Google That's assistant. What I need. Google Assistant. Okay, here go my number. My spin the wheel app. Okay, so that's the app. It looks a little cheesy because it is.
Okay.
So I'll push start and it'll bring it up like this. And I'm just going to spend it and ask the question. So here you go. Number 6. Okay. I know it's cheesy.
No, it wasn't.
I like little cheesy shit like this. See, I watch too much.
How connected we are, though. we far away and we're still connected. That's beautiful.
Definitely. I watched too many damn game shows as a kid. That's probably what it was.
I'm just sitting there like, who's that? You didn't even know. I like game shows. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, number 6 is what keeps you motivated to keep pushing for success? So that's kind of similar to the question that I asked earlier a little bit.
Just being able to afford my kids and my grandkids the opportunity that I didn't have, and setting them up for a better future that I didn't have. And also for myself, understanding that it's necessary for me to take care of myself and motivate myself and keep myself focused because I have a family, because I have people that look up to me, and because I want to do it for myself. I like the way I feel when I keep pushing and I jump over hurdles and I meet triumph, with my hands high after jumping over so many impediments and hurdles and trials and tribulations and monkey wrenches and all kinds of stuff. So that's the key thing. Like, I really want to stay motivated for not just myself, but for the kids and my grandkids and my great-grandkids.
Yeah. Well, I definitely want to say, just to close us out, that you are a very inspiring person. I'm hands down to like you. I can't say enough about. I said we've only got a part of your story, not even getting into you and the things that you did on a personal level for yourself. An amazing story, an amazing person. We will definitely have a part 2 to this, like ASAP.
Don't worry. It's a good part 2, part 3, might be part 4. No.
Absolutely. I truly appreciate you. Like I said, you're very inspirational for myself, and I'm sure for others. Definitely.
I appreciate you.
You have an amazing story. Absolutely. Yeah. So for those that are listening on a traditional podcast platform, you can watch the episode on Rumble. That's rumble.com/user/the D.A.M Podcast. You can see all 23 episodes on rumble.com. And like I said, if you're watching this and you want to listen to it, you don't have time to watch it, you can pop an earbud in while you're cleaning up or doing laundry or whatever. Just search Daylight and Moonshine on any platform that streams podcasts. So, Spotify, Pandora, Apple Music, all of those good platforms.
You're all over the place.
All over the place. I'm trying to get this message out. I mean, that's what does it for me, to be able to put a spotlight and give a stage for a person like you that has such an inspirational story that may not have gotten the opportunity, or, we just like we said about the whole Donahue thing, when those families, and not to knock them or whatever, but where were the normal families? I know my mom wasn't the only one back then. From then till now, she wasn't the only one. We weren't the only ones. Where were the normal everyday people at? So not to knock those families. So I want to give a platform for the normal everyday people that wouldn't normally get a spotlight or a stage to tell their story, their very inspirational story.
Yeah. This, and funny enough, the response might even shock you. There might be some people that come up in response to the podcast and say, that they were homeschooled as Black children, regular Black kids. And it's not just, about Black children, but I am African-American, Black. My son is Black. So of course that's, where I'm going with that. But yeah, there may be a lot of people that come out of the woodwork. It's like, hey, I didn't know I was the only one, or just like you are a rarity, and then you didn't know that I was homeschooling, and so it might be some more people. You never know. Hopefully there are.
Yeah, hopefully. I really hope so.
Yeah.
Well, catch us on the next episode, y'all. Catch us on the next episode. Part 2 coming to you really soon. We thank y'all for listening. And as always, we love y'all. And we out.
Bless. Peace.
Peace.